Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this gorgeous table runner. Now this is very dramatic looking. This fabric that I chose has metallic paint-like substance on it. Also, the rickrack is metallic gold. Now you don't have to use the metallic fabrics. I just wanted to give a really dramatic look. I've also made this table runner with just plain ordinary fabrics. It doesn't have to be holiday fabrics. You can make this for any season of the year. Okay, let's get started. How much fabric you'll need really depends on how big you want to make this table runner. How long do you want to make it? How wide do you want to make it? So here is a tabletop. So what you need to do is go to your dining room table or kitchen table, wherever you want to make this for. Take a tape measure with you and measure the length, and then also decide how wide you want to make that runner. Do you want it to cover 2/3 of the table? Do you want it to be just a narrow little strip? So decide at that time how long and wide you want to make it. Now, this table runner has some fabric, different fabric attached at each end. So you want to decide, lay your fabric out on the table if you've already got some, and then take some other fabric and lay that on top to see how you want it all to place. Now, this is if you only want it to show on top of the table. If you want it to hang over the edge, then you not only need to measure the top of the table, but you need to go down the number of inches you would like that runner to fall. So for your small table, let's say a 60-inch table, you're probably going to need about 1/2 yard of the fabric for the middle section, and then maybe 1/2 yard for the pieces that are at each end. I used 1-inch wide rickrack on mine, but you can also use 1/2-inch wide rickrack if you choose. If you want the wide rickrack, it's going to be hard to find it in a store. Some stores do carry it, but they often don't carry a lot of different colors. So you can go online to Amazon.com, Etsy.com, and then try some of the other fabric supply websites. All you need to enter is 1-inch wide rickrack. Now these two pieces are just my little pretend table runner. It doesn't matter which size your table runner is. The way you put it together is exactly the same, no matter how big it is. So you take the pieces that you want at the end of your runner, bring front sides together, and stitch anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch. And then you take your other piece and attach it to the other end. Now, I pressed open my seam here because once I put the rickrack on top of this seam, I want to make sure it lies really flat. If you are going to use the 1/2-inch wide rickrack, all you need to do is place it right over the seam. Then you're going to stitch down right through the middle of the rickrack. Now if you're using the 1-inch wide rickrack, place it over the seam like that. Now you're going to stitch on both sides of the rickrack, and again on this side. Don't be tempted to just stitch down the middle, because if you should ever wash this, see this? It's going to get wrinkled and curled up. This way, if you stitch it down, it'll look nice and fresh no matter what you do. Now this is my fabric for the top, and on the back of the fabric for the top you want to fuse your lightweight interfacing on. So your interfacing is cut the same size as the table runner. So just place this fabric over that interfacing and then follow package instructions for fusing it on. You can use any brand of interfacing that you like. For table runners, I happen to like the lightweight the best. Now take the fabric for the back and place it down on top of your fabric for the top side of the table runner. And go ahead and place pins around all of the edges. Then you're going to stitch a 1/4 inch wide seam all the way around. Before you stitch, you want to go to one of the edges and indicate an opening that you can use to turn this front side out later after you're done stitching. So I like to leave an opening that's big enough for my hand to go through. So I have 2 pins on one side of the opening and 1 pin on the other side. Where the 1 pin is where you begin your stitching. So back stitch. Stitch a 1/4 inch wide seam all the way around. And when you get to the 2 pins, that's where you stop and then back stitch again. Now before you turn it front side out, I recommend you trim your corners down like I have here to about 1/8 of an inch wide. So first I cut across at a diagonal and then I did a little bit off each side. Be real careful you don't cut into your stitch line. Then you want to go to that opening, reach inside, and begin turning the table runner front side out. Now here's one that I've already finished. So once you get it turned front side out, you want to reach inside through the opening and poke your corners out at each end. Then you're going to press all of the edges flat. At the opening, turn the edges, the raw edges inside, pin it closed, and also press that flat. Then you're going to do a stitch around all of the edges, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Now, if you're doing this with 2 different fabrics like this is, I recommend you use different thread, for each section. For instance, this one, I used kind of a cream color. I didn't have a gold that really matched this very well. And on this part, I used red. Now this is what it will look like if you choose to have it hanging over the edge. This gives a more dramatic touch. Or if you want it just to lay on top of the table and not fall over the edge, this is what it will look like. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you've never made a table runner before, this one is not difficult. I call this a beginner's sewing project. But maybe if you are a beginner, start with the smaller version first. Get your feet wet a little bit before you go for the real dramatic looking one. Now, if you're interested in other table runner tutorials, I have a lot of them. There will be a playlist listed below your screen in the description section. Just scroll down, click on the words "Show More," and then it will expand open and you will see other links appearing. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and make sure you check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny. See you next time.